This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined here today by former two-weight world champion Paulie Malignaggi. We're here at Ultimate Boxer 3 launch at BT Tower. How are you, Paulie?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. So, Ultimate Boxer moving on up. New deal with BT Sport. Talk to me about that. Very exciting.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. You know, the fun thing about Ultimate Boxer is it's not only exciting because the fights are short and they're explosive and all that fun stuff for the fans, but it's a great opportunity for prospects. You know, prospects that usually float below the radar, they haven't been seen, they haven't been able to get put in front of the right people to get deals, but may have the talent to get a deal if they're just able to be seen, you know. And I think ultimately, I've been saying all day, if you're passionate about the sport, you're passionate about the boxers. And if you're passionate about the boxers, then Ultimate Boxer is for you, because this gives opportunity to boxers who may have had talent but have not been seen yet.
Talk to me about it, because you've been with Ultimate Boxer since its infancy. I remember the first press conference. It's now moving on to BT Sport. Quite a dramatic jump, a big change in platform. Just how important is that for Ultimate Boxer, and how big of a deal is this for the company?
It's big because, you know, the bigger the platform, the better it is for the fighters. You know, I think this is a situation for prospects that maybe hadn't had the contract deals with promoters, you know, where they have to take a chance and fight in this tournament-style format to be able to be seen. But now this tournament-style format has an even bigger platform. You know, with BT, it's a majorly big platform. You know, where now I believe fighters, not just with no deals, are going to want to be a part of it, but also the fighters with deals are going to want to be a part of it, because it's going to become such a big thing to be a part of. You know, and so I think it makes it more exciting. Makes it more exciting for fans, because like I said, I really believe in the entertainment value of this. But also I think it makes it more exciting for the fighters, and really you're going to see a lot of fighters hoping that Ultimate Boxer chooses their weight class so they can hopefully be picked for it.
Moving away from Ultimate Boxers, first time I've spoken to you since your groundbreaking deal, Bareknuckle Fighting Championships. Is that right? Yes, sir. That's the company I've signed with, and Dave Feldman is the president, and he's got a great vision of things he wants to do, and obviously was willing to pay me for my services, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Caught a lot of people, myself included, by surprise. How long has this been in the pipeline?
I've probably been talking to Feldman for a couple of years, you know. A couple of years, a couple of months. Big difference, a couple of months. And I think, you know, if you would have asked me at the beginning of the year if I was thinking about fighting, I would have thought you were, you know, nah, crazy. I wasn't even a thought in my mind. But when I met Feldman, I started to see his vision. Obviously, started to see the money he was willing to offer me, and the fact that he was a straight shooter and everything he talked about. You know, he was right on point with it and on line with it, and even with the conversations we had. So, you know, this is a straight shooter that's not typical of people you meet in the fight business. I started to become more and more intrigued by it, and eventually we worked something out.
Now, please don't take this the wrong way, but I've followed your career for a number of years. You didn't strike me, or don't strike me, as the type of fighter boxer to go into bare knuckle boxing. I mean, you had brittle hands, hand trouble, very classical textbook boxer. Can you kind of see why that would surprise a few people, that you've gone into this form of fighting?
Yeah, of course. You know, but I don't think you take the proper boxing technique that I used and bring it to bare knuckle boxing. I think you take some facets of it, but I also think you can have to kind of evolve your game a little bit and change it up a little bit, but not drastically. You know, there's things you have to obviously change and adjust. More so than evolve, adjust. I would use the word adjust more so than evolve. You know, but there's obviously parts of my skill set that will come in handy for it, and there's other things that I'll have to adjust. You know, but one thing about bare knuckle is, you know, I think it's clear to see. Most people become punchers. It's just about the accuracy, and nobody has better accuracy than a pro boxer.
It's something that we've seen stateside with BKB, with Gabe Rosado, Curtis Stevens, and fighters like that. It's not necessarily a new thing, although it's starting to now gain traction in mainstream media. Just how important is that, and how big do you think bare knuckle fighting could become?
I think it could become big because I think it's sort of a hybrid with MMA and boxing, you know, and you're sort of linking the two fan bases, because they are two very different fan bases, and there's an interest from both fan bases in this, you know. So I think the hybrid can ultimately be the link between the two combat sports, you know, and I think that's exciting, because I think, you know, you have to appreciate fighters in general, you know, and fighting for a living is very tough to do. So I think if fans can appreciate a little bit of both, it'd be fun to be a part of that, you know. But I do think, you know, it's obviously an old sport that's been kind of reborn in the last few years, and different promotions have jumped out. But BKFC has been real professionals about the way they've handled things, I've noticed, and they've been real professionals with me. And like I said, I believe in the vision that David Feldman of BKFC has discussed with me. And at 38 years old, I'd be lying to you if I'd say, I'm going to start campaigning, I think this is sort of a thing where I'm going to be involved with it for a little bit, and then, obviously I'm done, like I'm not 21 years old, but I'm starting a new career, and I'm looking to fight forever, but I think the ideas of this, and obviously the money behind it, it sparked my curiosity.
Just moving away from Ultimate Boxer and yourself, this past weekend we saw Errol Spence, dominant unanimous decision victory over Mikey Garcia. Just your thoughts on the fight?
I think credit to both guys for putting together a great promotion and getting the fans excited about the fight. But ultimately, Errol deserves all the credit in the world. This was a fight where it was thought that he was just too big for Mikey. Sure, in the second half of the fight, he showed the physical aspect of the fight, of his fight game. But I think early on, he was outclassing Mikey Garcia, and he wasn't using the physical aspect of it. He was jabbing him, he was off his rhythm. He was really, really outclassing Mikey Garcia to the point where you could say even if Errol was a natural lightweight, this would have been a dominant fight for Errol Spence. He was just a better fighter, and that's not saying a lot because Mikey's a high-class fighter. So I think, in the second half of the fight, he decided to let him know, hey, listen, you're a welterweight, and I'm going to show you what being a welterweight is now, But I think in the first half of the fight, Errol made a conscious effort to say, you know what, I'm going to outclass this guy first, just so people know I didn't just beat him on size. I was just a better fighter overall, and I think he did a great job of that. And I like the combination of the two, honestly. It was a little bit of a hybrid. We saw a little bit of a Ray Leonard-esque, slick boxing early on, and then we saw the Hagler come into the Hagler version of Errol Spence come in, and that's what makes him really a dynamic fighter, is the fact that he's a great world-class boxer, and obviously you don't make the Olympics as an amateur if you don't have top boxing skills. So Errol was an Olympian as an amateur, so we always knew he had top boxing skills, so we should have known anyway. And he has the dog in him as well. He'll get in the trenches and loves being in there and fighting it out. And that's what we saw the Hagler in him as well. So I think he can be a very successful fighter, but also a very exciting fighter. And I look forward to seeing what's next for him, as well as seeing how Mikey returns as well. Because let's face it, that's a great fighter. He just has to understand the weight classes matter.
A lot of people, myself included, I know that you kind of made a brief appearance in my interview with Dave Caldwell. Would love to see Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford next. How do you see that fight going?
Yeah, I think it's a great fight. I think both guys are world class, but I think Errol, the natural welterweight, it comes into very much into play there, And regardless of the fact that they're both terrific fighters, and regardless who wins or loses, they will both remain terrific fighters, just like Mikey and Errol over the weekend. I believe Errol's a better fighter.
Okay, well, Paulie Malignaggi, as always, it's a pleasure catching up with you. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.